Let's start right out with the balance of power. Everyone wants to know, where's Congress headed? First of all, the House more and more likely to turn Republican.
Almost every prognosticator, from the most ambitious ones to the most conservative ones, believes that the House will flip to Republican. Whether that means a 40-seat gain, 45-seat gain, or a 60, 70-seat gain, we don't know how big the wave's going to be.
And on the Senate side, there had been talk that it was a possibility for the Republicans, though a lot of races have sort of tightened in the last couple of days.
Yeah, Republicans will really have to shoot the moon to gain the Senate. They'll have to win every competitive race, including some ones where Democrats leading. They'll have to win Washington State, California, Nevada, Arkansas.
Let's hit that list then. Washington State.
Patty Murray is facing Dino Rossi. She's a veteran. She's part of the Year of the Woman in 1992. She's in leadership. And it's a very blue state. It's Washington State, but Dino Rossi is making another run there, and he's very close, and she's become part of a symptom of what's wrong with Washington if you talk to people in that state.
And it was a real sort of a risky move last week in sort of embracing the president like she did.
She supported the president's agenda. She can't really run from it.
Let's talk California. Diane Sawyer's out west for a couple of days this week, and she sat down with Meg Whitman, asked her point blank, are you going to be spending more money, and how much more money in this final week?
So that's it, you're not going to spend any more?
I'm, meeting and greeting voters.
So you haven't decided on whether you're going to spend more?
No, we'll see how it goes.
She didn't get much of an answer. I don't know if you saw.
It's an unbelievable amount of money. I don't know what it is because it changes by tens of millions every day. And you know what? The polls we see, Jerry Brown is extending his lead as we go into the final weeks. So Meg Whitman might end up running the most expensive, self-funded losing campaign in political history.
And let's talk Nevada. Will Harry Reid hold on? And I got to bring up this SNL skit over the weekend. I don't know if you saw it, but it's this sort of distancing yourself from the president in every possible way.
Thank you, Harry Reid, a fair weather friend.
I wouldn't call us friends.
The polar opposite of Patty Murray last week that we saw in Washington. But where does that stand?
That's a race that we might not know the outcome until very early or the next morning East Coast time. They're deadlocked in the polls.
Do you think had he not been up against someone as controversial as Sharon Engel, he'd be done by now?
Yeah, that's what everyone out there is saying. That's what commentators in Washington are saying. Harry Reid's negatives in Nevada are very high.
I'm just curious, as we say goodbye here, your favorite race to watch a week from now?
There's two. You got to watch Harry Reid, Sharon Engel, just because it's the sitting majority leader. It's the most powerful man in the Senate. And if he gets knocked down by a very conservative Tea Party-backed candidate, it's an enormous upset. But the really fun one is Alaska. It's a three-way race. It's the Democrat, McAdams, the Republican nominee, Joe Miller, and then the sitting senator who lost the primary, Lisa Murkowski, is running in a write-in campaign. And she's polling about 1/3. Joe Miller's polling about 1/3. And McAdams is picking up the slack in the 20s. But here's the thing. That race might not be called. If there's enough write-ins to make it close for Lisa Murkowski, that race might not be called for days, if not weeks. They have to ship in handwritten ballots from all over the enormous state of Alaska. So watch that race, but it won't be called on election night.
Really something to see that reaction when she told him he wasn't fit, when Murkowski told Miller, you're not fit.
Joe is not fit to lead. I have been leading this state.
Murkowski has pulled out all the stops. She even put the late Ted Stevens, in one of her ads.
Politics. Never count anyone out.
Everything goes.